At the end of the day, I know who I am.
Welcome. You are listening to
Rainbow TableTalk.
Hey, right? Everybody move. Everybody's moving right now. Right now. Because you got to get the shows like Invisible. I don't know what the things you call it.
Where's my hug? Give me my
Oh,
hug.
give me a Let me get that kiss. I love
Thank
you.
you.
I love you. I love you.
Thank you. What's love? What's love got to do with it? You
What
see,
is love got to? You got to hit the note. You got to hit the note.
what's love got to do? Got to do with it. You ain't never seen it till you seen your parents in the kitchen dancing to that one.
You like what? Really?
Love
Got to do with it.
What's the second hand emotion? Producer, what's the second hand emotion?
I was thinking about that with the second man.
What's that? It ain't a first emotion. What's the first hand emotion?
Y'all put in the chat. What is the second hand emotion?
Oh,
I don't know what.
love is fleeting, so it's a second hand emotion.
That's why we gotta have producer. Producer's like a walking Webster dictionary. She knows everything.
She talking about underneath anger, there's always something else.
So maybe with love, there's something that's
So with love, there's always
think
something.
about it. Love could be like, I love you so much that I lose myself in you, or I love you enough to let you go.
So I love you enough to lose myself in you, or I love you enough to let you go. So
that was deep.
is lust a first hand emotion? Because is that
Ooh.
if love is a second hand emotion? If love is after.
Someone said Romeo and Juliet.
Okay, thank you, Empirical.
Whoa. Romeo and Juliet, first of all. Listen. Okay. Yes. Empirical, I appreciate that. Romeo and Juliet, however, I think it's more hype than necessary because they essentially killed themselves because they families ain't like each other.
They said, look, we got to go out together.
Not let's leave the city.
Nope.
And y'all forget they was teenagers.
They couldn't catch a flight. That's what happened.
Listen, I can't make no valid decisions as a teenager. You ain't gonna ask me if we can be so in love we gonna kill ourselves. That's a lie.
Man. How did they kill themselves again?
They drank poison.
Wow. I tell you,
whose idea was that?
They seen it.
I'm gonna blame it on Romeo.
Yeah.
Hey, our families don't like each other. Let's just kill ourselves. What?
Like who? You know what? I want to live because if this don't work out, I'm gonna find somebody.
Hold on. Empirical given. Well, he said Empirical, I don't know. I can't see your face. Romeo killed Tybalt and was banished, which was considered worse than death.
Empirical is dropping the knowledge.
Listen, I got to actually read the story because so listen, the version of
you haven't read the story.
Whoa, producer.
Whoa. I feel a little attack there.
All I'm saying is where I was introduced to Romeo and Juliet was I used to watch Wishbone.
Oh yeah. I love Wishbone. Wishbone at 5:00. We live vicariously through Wishbone.
Producer said we need to start the show.
Oh my God. Man. Okay, let me bring it down. Wishbone.
Thank you, Empirical, for that. For those fun facts. All right.
Right.
So, guys, this episode is What's Love Got to Do with It. My apologies for missing last week. Just had some family emergency situations going on, and Romeo was older. Like how much older, Empirical? How much older?
So basically, Romeo was a sugar daddy.
My apologies. Anyways, I'm
back on it. We're back on it.
So I was gone last week. Had a family emergency. Had to take care of that. Priorities, guys. So we were supposed to do the Valentine's show last week, but it's still the love month. So we are going to talk about what's love got to do with it.
Take a drink on that one.
So yeah.
Child labor laws. Okay.
Read the comments. So anyways, let's talk about what's love got to do with it. Question.
Wow. Right off the gate.
Out the gate. In high school, what was your go-to Valentine's Day gift for your boo?
Man, what was my go-to gift for my Valentine's boo? Woo! You're taking me back. All right, I had like two. Because like in school, they be like selling candy and all of that.
Yeah.
Like they come to the classroom and then you'll sell candy.
What did they call them?
Heart grams, candy grams?
Like lover grams, candy grams.
Yeah. Yes, I had to make sure. But back in the day, we didn't have equality like that. We was using they, them differently. So I had to kind of like, put my name and just kind of like incognito, right? But old girl knew who I was. Yeah. So I did that. But I think one was a classic that I can remember. I had two girlfriends at the time. This is old KJ, okay? Now don't judge me. I had two girlfriends at the time. And I bought them, I don't know what I was doing as a teenager, bought both of them drawers. Like, cute little drawers that had their astrology sign on it. So I bought I bought both of them that put in a bag. I had to give it separately. But, it was buy one, get one. Why not?
Did they go to the same? Wait, I ain't go, because people know what school we went to. We ain't finna talk about it.
Yeah, we're not about to go.
I ain't finna out you.
Don't out me. Don't out me.
A finna do all that. And Percocet, it can't even. And
I was proud of it. I was like, yeah.
Listen. All right, so
what you had? What you did?
I ain't had no money.
Mm-hmm.
Not like that, because you remember, like at that time, my mama would give me $20, send me to the Regency Mall. We was gonna hit the tilt.
Yeah.
And eat, go to the movies, and try to buy you a shirt, all with that $20. Like that was what we was doing. So I'm a DJ. So what I did, make mix CDs.
Ooh, so, that was your gift from back then.
Mix CDs, you send one of them candygrams, and then I would write poetry and I would I would slide it in the locker before I would get to school early. I tell my mom, like, we got study group or basketball practice early in the morning. I would get to school early before everybody got there so that I could slide it in the locker before they knew. And then I go on about my business. Oh, and when I wised up, I got me a girlfriend that didn't go to school.
Ooh.
And then it was like, I'm going to buy you this Dollar Tree bear.
Yeah. Them Dollar Tree bears came in clutch. I tell you, I'm gonna take that, man. You was already a poet.
Dollar Tree been holding down love since the beginning of time. We don't give Dollar Tree. Listen, are y'all ready?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Dollar Tree got balloons. Dollar Tree got candles.
Whew.
Dollar Tree got picture frames.
Picture frames.
Like, go home and put it in the picture frame.
Don't be giving them gems away right now.
Hey, I'm just saying. Take it.
You got chocolate. You got chocolate, and you got batteries. Just in case if you're feeling kind of raunchy.
The producer KJ said Dollar Tree got batteries.
Just in case you need it, the Panasonic. It may last you a good 30 minutes, but do what you got.
Dollar Tree batteries don't last too long, player. It'll get you through one night, but don't try to use it the next day.
You mess up your whole vibe.
I'll tell you this: every Valentine's Day deserves a Valentine's night. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh, I tell you, you better put that on a shirt or on Twitter.
Terrence said she do chocolate hearts.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, them cheap ass batteries. Yeah, they don't last, but I keep buying them.
You get one good use.
That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need.
All right.
See, that's why. Look, y'all making us cut up too much.
Too much. All right. So, let's talk about love languages.
Ooh, nice.
How important do you think it is to learn your partner's love language?
Ooh, it's key. On a scale of 1 to 10, that's like a 12. You got to know that. You got to know their love language. I mean, the love language and it's a communication, and you got to learn and know how to communicate with someone. Otherwise, than that, you may be saying A and that person may be saying B, and that relationship ain't gonna go nowhere if you can't communicate.
If
So
you can't.
that's my thought process on it.
Okay, so producers just gonna ask me what the 5 love languages are. Like, I don't know. You ready?
Yes, yes. Go ahead. Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do
it? Affection or physical touch. That's what I mean by affection. Physical touch. Quality time. All right.
Affirmation. Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
Right. You got it. I got you.
This made my drink strong.
Go ahead. And in the chat, come on, jump on, participate now. Because this is teamwork
They ain't even helping in the chat. All right. So quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service.
That's mine right there.
Acts of service. What was the last one, producer? Receiving gifts. That's mine. I don't.
Yeah. I got that one too. I got like a tie.
So listen, okay. So what do you think? Have you taken the test?
Yeah, I've taken a little quiz, and they got a little app too. We'll probably put it in the chat. Yeah, there's an app, especially if you're a couple. If you're a couple, there's an app that you can do your love language and do the other person's, and then like it sends you like little reminders. We'll get into that, but we'll put it in the chat or something.
Nice. So I think mine is always quality time and acts of service.
Yeah.
And then it's closely followed by gifts.
Closely followed by gifts.
Apparently, mine are words of affirmation. These are things I don't know my own.
That's the point. That's the point of why someone needs to know.
Somebody needs to know.
Mine is acts of service. Number one, if you do something for me, like I'm not even talking about big stuff. Like, bro, if you could just take the clothes out the what is his name, washing machine, I'm okay with that. Act of service.
Listen, there is so much that I will do in order not to take the clothes out the washing machine.
I like to wash, but I don't like to fold.
I will do dishes. Don't make me do clothes or fold them. I hate I hate any process that involves clothes. And so if that's an act of service that you would like to take on, God bless you.
I'm telling you, like wash a little dish or something like that. That turns me on. Yeah. So act of service is my number one. Then the two that tie up is physical touch and then receiving gifts. I was surprised about the receiving gifts because I actually like to give gifts.
Yeah.
For my future wife out there, I like to give those gifts.
Sometimes I find that Terrence said quality time for sure. Some time with me, boo.
What?
You better come on some time with me.
Do you know what?
So I find that the way I used to love people was I would love them within my love language. So I would go over the top with people with acts of service. I would give gifts. I would tell them things, and that doesn't work in relationships. Not if the way you are loving somebody is outside of their love language, because then they can't fully see the love that you have for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with that. I think because we sometimes think that if I like something, guess what? That person isn't like it too. For me, I know I'm guilty of that. I love giving gifts, and it's not just like, oh, I just love the whole process of going to find something and giving it to someone else. But you have to understand sometimes some people not like that. They like, they might like words of affirmation. They may like acts of service, or they might like physical touch. So that's important to know that, so that you're like, oh, yeah, you spent this money doing this, but this is what I really want.
But you ain't told me that you think that you're proud of me in 18 days, and so it hurts me more. Like you just bought me a diamond ring, but did you tell me you love me though?
Yeah, I was having a hard day, and you could have told me be strong. Right?
You told me be strong. That's what I needed. Did I tell you the time I had a girlfriend and I drove to see her
Ooh.
3 hours away, drove to see her.
Mm.
I don't bake. I baked her a cake for her birthday. All right. I took her to the melting pot,
Mm.
decorated the entire apartment.
Boy, can you be
and
my girlfriend, man?
Bought her a massage. Now, let me tell you this. This was a time in my life where I was broke. So I worked non-stop shifts like for 13 days straight at Red Lobster in order to afford this type of gift. And she, on the way to get the massage, was like, "You didn't buy me a cat."
You know, boy, you better be lucky.
When I tell you, she almost got hole punched in the side of her forehead. Like,
you want a cat?
Excuse me? She already had a cat, Kay. She already had a cat. Why you need 2 cats?
You don't need 2 cats, man.
You don't need 2 cats.
Shout out to the people that just got 1 cat. You need just 1 child, man. 2 cats is 2 cats.
She said, "Why you ain't bought me a cat?" And I wanted to be like, "I got some right here." Like,
meow, 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 meow. Like, come on now.
Producers rolling her eyes in disgust, right? This
is. I mean, that was deep. You drove 3 hours away. You baked. You set up a space.
Yours bake, okay, but mine be like. Psst, psst. Oh my gosh! All right, so.
Is there a point to that story?
Huh?
Is there a point?
Oh,
nah.
Sorry.
That was just.
There was no point. The point to the story was how many gifts would a gifter give if a gifter could give gifts?
Yeah.
Woodchuck.
And the other point is only have 1
No,
cat.
but apparently I wasn't acting in her love language, or she was just a selfish. I don't use the female dog. I don't know.
Yeah. She was not being loving at the time.
I think producer has had enough of.
She had enough of us today.
Producer is fed up. Anyways, so what do you do? Are you willing, if somebody is not loving you in your love language, how do you talk to them about it?
Wow. And I'm actually learning to do this like in my 30s. You know, like sometimes we could just run relationships like we've been running relationships like we're 16 or 20, 20 something years old. So like the way you just kind of sit down and talk, hey, can I talk to you about something? And I think is just saying, hey, in order for us to have a loving relationship, right? The goal is to have a loving relationship and to communicate. So if you set the precedent, that's what the goal is, and saying, this is, I would love for us. How do we get there? What is your love language? How can I better communicate with you? How can I better build a sense of intimacy with you? And this is how I can, communicate. This is how I interpret love, right? When you're able to get to that space, then you got some communication. And I think also too, we learn our love language sometimes from seeing our own parents, and we carry that into our own relationships. So whatever we see in our, parents or, whatever that look like for you in your household, we try to mimic that in relationships. So I think that's another part of a conversation is understanding someone's, background or how do they receive love from their parents or people in their household. So you have a better understanding, right? Because sometimes, like a person you could be, they may want words of affirmation because they've never been told that they're beautiful, and they might need that. And that love language may change.
Desperately seeking it. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay. So do you think that our childhood has an effect on our love language that we need, or is that something that, are you born with your love language, or has that just morphed over time from things that you've received? What do you think?
I think a love language is kind of like a personality. It could evolve, right?
Okay.
I think the default possibly could be you seeing that in your household, right? And that becomes internalized for you. So if you got your parent that's kind of like, oh, I love you, you did great, bought you a gift or whatever, you may have a well-rounded love language. But if you didn't see that in your household, on default, you may go out in the world trying to quote unquote love people, but you may operate in that space, right? And as you get to know yourself more or go into relationships and understand like this is not what I want to experience, this is what I want to experience, that may change over time. And if you got a good person that's a good partner that's a communicator, that can kind of help you out. What's your thoughts on it?
I agree with you. I think even because our love languages aren't limited to just our significant other. You love people within your love language. So for me, I think, like producer was saying, one of my love languages, words of affirmation. I think as a child yearned to be told that my peoples were proud of me or that they loved me so much, and not that I didn't receive it. I just didn't receive it as much as I needed it because that wasn't their love language. And so for me, with my children, I tell them constantly. Some might say I tell them too much. I don't know if you tell your kids that too much, but it's always, and I love you. It's always, I'm proud of you. It's always, you're doing great. It's always these things because I think those are things that I wanted to hear. And so when it comes to my friends and my friendships, I do the same. Like it's basically been like, y'all are awesome, or hey, I love you, because I always feel like those are things that are needed. So I guess that's me loving people the way I want to be loved.
Yeah. I love that because when you're telling them that you love them, you're kind of building up their self-esteem. It's getting into their subconscious. So when they become 30 and 40 years old, they ain't out here looking for it. One thing that you did mention is like friends. Do you think it's important to know like your friend's love language?
If maybe not acquaintances, but if they're your real friends, then yes. And it might not be something that you've had a conversation with them about, but maybe you've observed it. Or maybe you just listened in conversation over time and said, hey, all right, I see that. I see that my way to really touch your heart is in gifts, or producer said feed her.
Ooh, boom.
And I honestly think her and one of our other friends that like one of the other day, one of our friends contacted us and was like just feeling down, and my immediate response to her feeling down was, hey, I made chili, you want to come over and get some chili? And she said to me the next day, like, anytime I contact you and I'm feeling some type of way, you're always like, hey, I got food. And because for me that means you, one, have this act of service. I've cooked, so come get some. And also we get to spend this quality time together because this is what you may need. And when you get here, I can give you some of this physical touch and give you hugs. I got friends who hate hugs. I got a homegirl at my job. She hates hugs. Don't touch her. And so when she misses you, and she's like, give me a hug, I'd be like,
you take it in. You
love somebody, because I know for a fact this is not you. And I know for a fact that she's not the type to be like, I'm proud of you. She's not the type to be like, I love you. But if you need something, she's definitely acts of service. Because if you need something, without a shadow of a doubt, like I had surgery and I needed like a binder or something, and it was not pay week. And all of a sudden she was like, hey, check your text messages, and I got like an Amazon gift card from her. So she's basically one of those people who's just like, I got you.
No, and that's good, because I got one of those besties that's like, don't hug me, but when you get that hug, you're like, you love me back. You love me back. So I got another question for you.
Okay.
So what do you do when you, maybe even a partner, since we talk about partners and stuff like that, does not, they don't want to like respond to the love language, like kind of standoffish, like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but that ain't my vibe. What do you do in that situation?
You mean like you're telling them what your love language is and they won't respond to it that way?
Correct. Correct. It's too much. I guess I don't know if it's too much of an effort.
I think in that sense, then you have to evaluate if that's the person for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and not to say that anyone is going to 100% of the time match up to your love languages,
Mm-hmm.
but you need somebody willing to try.
Yeah.
Like it's because it's important. Like that's we feed off of each other's energy, and so if you're not willing to try to love me the way I need to be loved, like, or even get some under, if you basically hit me with the this is who I am,
Mm-hmm.
no, she better not sound like that.
Little bass in the voice.
This is who I am,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and this is how I've been, and so I don't feel like changing. Then I'm literally gonna be like, so
This right here.
you plan on not being in this relationship for long? It's just not gonna work. Like
Yeah.
if I want to spend quality time with you and you're like, I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I can't make no time for you. Well, this isn't gonna work because those are though you when you weigh those out in the pros and the cons, that's gonna be a con to me all day, every day.
Yeah. And I share the same sentiments because like if you vibe and then on top of that, if you tell them like, hey, you're already like because love languages it pushes you to compromise. It
Yeah,
pushes you to get out of how you've been taught, what you think like you is like it's not about your world,
yeah,
right? So if you communicate that, say, this is how I best love, this is how I receive love, and then the other person's on the other side, like, all right, I hear that, but that's too much of an effort for me. Like you said, it's not that relationship is not gonna it's not gonna last, and I think it brings a person to a point where you have to question. That's when you got to do some, self confidence, some self esteem work. Like,
hmm.
hey, especially if you decide to stay, if they articulate that to you, that should give you a sign, a red
and
flag that you need
and
to
I
be out
think
of
that's
that.
also where it's important to have gone over some of your partner's previous traumas, because say they've gone through something traumatic in whatever part of their life, and because of that it's hard for them to give physical touch,
Yeah, that is,
or they've gone through things and they've been told you ugly, you're not this, you're not that for most of their life, and so now it's hard for me to give you words of affirmation because I can't love you, and that's and I think that might be a little bit, I think that's a little bit different. It's a difference between somebody who's just unwilling to give you some things that you need, or somebody who is unable to give you some things that you need. So
yeah,
I think in those aspects, then it has to be, well, we need to talk about these things. You may need to sit down with a therapist and go over these things.
please go
Because
to therapy, people.
yeah, please. Therapy's fun. I
I just
like it.
started. I just started therapy. I just like,
It's fun for me. I like it.
yeah, I'm a person that I like to do like I'll fix it myself, but I was like, oh, I had a friend remind me like, oh, you need, you help other people. You need to go get some help too. So yeah, therapy's fun. But I think
Yeah,
the biggest piece that you mentioned out of that too was like the trauma, right? And when I'm hearing that, it's like trauma could kind of actually cover your real love language, right? Like so, if you've
mm,
gone through any type of domestic situation, or like when you talk about physical touch, or you've been spoken to negatively, like
yeah,
that could be either low on your list, not even there, but that's
exactly.
something that needs to be like if you were to experience it, it could change and that could be your primary love language. But because you've had the trauma kind of cover that up, it could kind of hide that a little bit.
So, like you said, love languages are adaptable. So
Yeah.
maybe you would have been a person who's into physical touch, and then something happened, and now you don't want to you don't want to display those things.
Yeah.
I
That's my thought process.
I, I agree with you. I agree with you on that one. I definitely agree with you on that one.
Meanwhile, y'all put some questions in the chat.
Please, please share this.
This is
share
a
this and
this
all
is a
that.
conversation. This is a group effort. Group effort. Producer, you ain't got producer on the chime in. She got any questions that she just wanted to keep shut us up.
Yeah, producer just trying to keep us on point. So let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things. All right.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it was a
It was,
delay.
it's virtual. They would be like, they are offbeat.
All the way. Okay. It was like what was it? Us? Where she was where she was on a 1 and a 3, and it was like, oh no. No, clap on beat, baby. What is you doing? So
I love when you look up to the sky.
I know, right? Like I gotta talk to somebody about this. All right. So in heteronormative relationships.
I haven't been in one of those since like 15, 16.
So there's usually roles involved in a hetero relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come into a situation where you might be in a same-sex relationship and you're both in these, there's none of these masculine and feminine roles, which sometimes there are, but how big is it to express what your needs are sexually?
Whew. You hit a good one. You hit a good one. I think it's very, very important. I think, and then we got like a double whammy too. Like, one, sometimes in our community we can have roles. I'm seeing a lot of people now like deconstruct everything. Like, no, this is not what a stud or a masculine represented woman has to represent. This is a feminine woman does not have to do all of this stuff. Just kind of defining that as you go in a relationship.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you got the love languages. I think it is important because, like, for me, like, I've reached in my last relationship, I realized I was like, I like someone to, like, spoon me. Like, I like to, hold me. But typically
the masculine of center woman is going to
yeah.
I'm in the middle.
Right.
I am little spoon all day. I am 5'2". I am a pint-sized Snickers. Little spoon me all day. Little spoon me all day.
Little spoon.
Hey,
little spoon.
I'm just saying. Little spoon me all day. I like to be held as I can hold you.
Yeah. But I ain't gonna.
But I'm not gonna hold you all night because at some point it's like
I don't. No, and this is us. Just let this be an open space, right? And let it be fun, right? So for straight guys, I don't see how they do it. Like if you holding a girl on your bicep and arm all night, man, that thing, your blood flow gonna just cut off. I've tried to do that. Shout out to the women that relationships that you could have your partner on your arm all night. If the blood flow.
Like my last ex guy would have liked to be spooned.
No judgment.
No judgment. I think he has little spoon capabilities. I just
little spoon tendencies.
Feel like there's some little spoon tendencies, and it's not a bad thing. I just feel like maybe I don't know. Maybe if I'd a little spooned him, it'll worked out. I don't.
I think that we should start adding that into the curriculum. Are you a little spoon or big spoon?
Excuse me. Like, would you ask these questions on first dates? So, what traumas have you been through?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like to be little spoon or big spoon?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make
sense? I'm versatile. You know what I'm saying? I might hold you for like maybe 15 minutes.
Tops.
And then if I got a shirt, the trick is that you lay more on the shirt, my arm is free. Then I switch it up. So you got a strategy to it.
So then when it comes down to those things that are more role dominant, like, it's a new day and time. People date who they date. Like, like you see a lot of like stud for stud,
Mm-hmm.
like in these chats, and I know originally for me, I'd be like, so who does what? But then that
Yeah.
goes to there doesn't necessarily have to be roles in it. Like if you like something, and I think that's what comes with maturity.
Yeah, it definitely does. Because back in the
As
day, I
I've
would be
gotten
like,
older, I've
yeah.
learned more of what I like. And
Mhm.
what I like doesn't necessarily go along with what the standards for a stem or a stud are in a relationship.
Yeah,
And so I think once you can get, and I think it's very important to find somebody who can get along with what you like. Because if you got
yeah,
somebody who doesn't want to touch you, doesn't want to do anything, doesn't want to, if you have somebody who's like that, then at some point in time you're just gonna be like, there can be a sense of unfulfillment. And
yeah.
so you have to be able to say, hey, this is what I like. If this is what you like and they don't agree, do you end it or do you stay in it?
And I think that's up for conversation, right? So there's some things that I'm having a strong desire on. That's like I think that gets into like sexual compatibility.
Okay.
Like and that opens up the conversation. Like, hey, this is what I aside of the love languages. That's one thing.
That's one thing.
This is the way that I love to experience intimacy, right? So
Yeah.
there's certain things that hey I don't care for, I don't like. But if
Yeah.
you get in the bedroom and you're trying to impose that on me, that's like violation. Versus and that same thing for you. Like if you tell me, hey, this is something that I don't like and I come in with my own agenda of like, come on, like let's
Yeah.
try this and it's not at your will, I'm violating you. So I think like you got that's up for conversation and I
So
think
if
sometimes
somebody
you just have
comes to
to
you, if somebody comes to you, Kate, and is like, listen,
yeah.
I know we just really getting deep in this relationship. I
Mm-hmm.
have a thing for
Here you go being crazy.
sucking jelly off of toes.
I'll go ahead and get that Welch's, boy. I'll go ahead and get that Welch's. Like to me, and I'm cool with that.
But
But
you know
some
what?
people, I would do that. I would, I'm
Uh,
into certain things. I'm into certain
pr-
things.
producer says she done with us and she quits because apparently, I can't be professional. I think I held on to seriousness for long enough.
Yeah, I think that's fine. But to me, like a no go for me is like penetration. That's not my thing.
It's not
So
your
like
thing.
if, don't try to coerce me. Don't try to slip me a drink. Don't try to talk me into it. Don't think 5 years from now I'm gonna change. I'm
Okay.
gonna let you know that up front. And if that's not your flavor, and you have a deep desire and you love to do that, then you may have to find someone that
That
wants to do that.
that
That's just
has
not
that
that's
has
just
some
not
thing.
Kate. That's just not me.
Okay. Okay.
How about
So
yourself? What is like? And this is where we get RTT after dark. What is like a no go for you?
um exits, leave my exit,
Oh yeah,
leave
we
an
had
exit.
that too.
That just exits is not my thing. All right. Let's just not mess with it. All right. Oh no. Uh so that's just and so I was reading something about like based on your sign, it I'm a Sagittarian. And
Mm-hmm,
it was like Sagittarians talk about sex. So when I get into a relationship, before we have ever done anything, I want to know what you like, what you
yeah.
don't like,
Oh yeah.
what are your hard no's, like what is your safe word, like what is
Yeah.
that to be like
Like
pineapples.
50 shades. Like
Yeah, like we
it's
done with
side eye.
that. So I think it's very important before you even cross into that aspect of your relationship to discuss things.
Yeah.
Um, how are you? Are you aggressive? Are you passionate? Are you a mixture of both? Because you mess around and get in that room and get to growling at people and you're gonna scare somebody. Just like
You're like, you know what? Ooh.
Like
I didn't know those are things.
yeah. So, and I think that often we miss. I think because we're unable to communicate our needs, our wants, we end up missing out on some like amazing sexual experiences with our
Yeah,
partner because we just haven't discussed it. If you like certain things, tell somebody what you like. I
yeah.
remember listen, I'm going to be straight up and honest.
Be
We talk
honest.
it's RTT after dark, okay?
This is
So,
you look, hey,
my
exclusive.
very first girlfriend,
Yeah.
like first of all, I have a certain base set of skills, okay?
Okay,
And
talented.
I'm like Liam Neeson in Taken. I have a certain set of skills, all right, to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
They are good. However, they are better when they are tailored towards my partner. And so, my first relationship, um, my ex eventually told me that she was faking it. And I was like,
Okay.
why? And she was just like, it's good. She was like, it's just not to where I need to get mine. And I was like, why wouldn't you tell me, idiot? Like,
Yes.
I was like, I
You
literally
can,
was like, why wouldn't you tell me? Because now you've been wasting time missing out on your
yeah,
orgasm
you like, yeah. You could,
because
you
you
got
don't feel the need to tell me. And as soon as we had that conversation, and she basically was like, well, I like this, I like these things. Then
me.
after that, we was good as gold. Like,
Hmm.
you're not, I think people think you're gonna hurt their feelings
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
they tell you, I don't like this, I like it this way, I like it that way. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm here to give you pleasure.
Yeah.
So obviously, this is one, it was my first time ever having done this. So there's room to learn, there's room
Yeah,
to
bro.
grow. And so talk, be
Yeah.
open, be honest. Tell people what you need out of having sex with somebody. Tell somebody what you need.
And that's so important, and I think that's what the love language is, especially like now, because before we probably haven't, you're young in your 20s and, you're just doing sex the way you think you're supposed to have sex. But
Yeah.
it's like the love languages kind of give rise to like how like your sexual intimacy, like we were talking about
Hmm.
earlier, like your physical touch. How do you like to be touched? Words of affirmation. Do you want me to be, do you want me to speak to you? Acts of service. You know what I'm saying? Do you want me to bring the jelly in? Like, stuff like,
Yeah.
like quality, like quality time.
Do you need the jelly warmed up
Yeah,
or
yes. And in the quality time, sometimes that can, basically um, help a person kind of get there. Like, like
yeah,
kind of, okay, have the hormones going. All right. It
yeah,
kind of helps. It gives rise to what that intimate experience is going to look like.
yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. So,
I'm never going to look at jelly the
if you
same.
had a couple no-goes, like if you had a couple things that you wanted in a relationship, but your partner was unable to fill those needs, just wouldn't. Like, what in that space, what would you do? Would it be like, is love strong enough? Like, if everything is on point,
Hmm.
is love
Hmm.
strong enough to where if things aren't hitting off in the bedroom the way you want, you could stay in it?
I'm not even. I'm getting older, and I'm learning. I'm leaning into this. I would say, okay, let me just set it up here because I'm a Virgo, so I'm sometimes an all or nothing person, right?
Okay, okay,
I think you got that period of time, like when you're having a girlfriend, you got that period of time. Say what you like, what I like, right? Hopefully, you
yeah,
have that communication. Then you could get into a space where you're sharing that intimacy. But if you start saying like, yo, you done tried it a couple times and you're dating this person and it's just not working out for you, and especially like if you're thinking in your head long term, like you want to be in a marriage with this person or you want to do stuff, like go ahead and just say that then and save yourself the time, save that person the time, because you don't want that stuff to come up
uh-huh,
5, 6, 10 years down the line, and you be like, I like to be little spoon, I like to have jelly on my toes, and then you wasn't doing, you know what I'm saying? Like it's, I tell you, it's like 7 billion people on this earth. Don't get kind of and I've had to learn this. Like, you can't get zero down on one person. There is people out there that's going to be compatible to you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and sexually, right? So, like, why settle?
So
But there is room to grow. Like,
so that's one of the pieces of the puzzle. So
yeah,
you can't fully have emotional compatibility and not have the sexual compatibility
yeah, and you can also teach too. There's an opportunity to teach, right?
if they're willing to learn.
Yeah, they're willing to learn. If there's because you have to learn each other's bodies, right?
Yeah.
So if you're communicating to that person and you're saying, "Hey, this is what I like. This is like what you were saying with your ex, right?" Okay, you have to go through a point of growth, right?
Yeah.
And say, "Okay, hey, this is what I need." And if it starts to get better and things of that nature, oh man, okay, cool. But if it sucks, it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to be like, man, okay. And you
Like,
got to take inventory of yourself too. You know what I'm saying? You can't just put it all on that person. You could try your best. And some people are like that. Some people will,
now listen here. This is true because I learned that I was unable to, until I learned myself sexually, I was unable to communicate to my partner what I needed sexually until I learned what I like, until I found out that I was like, oh, if you do this and I do this, this will happen. Like until I got to that point, and being able to communicate, listen, I want to get mine too. So let me listen, you ain't got to do all the work. I like touching me. All right? Yeah. You ain't got to do all the work. I like me. So I think it was a moment for me getting older, being like, you don't have to rely on somebody to provide all of your sexual needs. Like you can learn you, and then you can bring them into the fold.
Yeah, I think that's good.
What up, Netta? On your lunch break, I see you. That's my friend.
Right. Getting this sexual talk on your lunch break. Go ahead. Make sure you do work.
Make sure you get your headphones in.
Make sure you do work. I think there's another way that sometimes we communicate. I know for kind of like myself, and it's still growing in that space. Sometimes our verbal communication could come through sex. Like sometimes, like if we're not, kind of either mature or felt comfortable or safe to verbally communicate, hey, this is what I need. Sometimes we can communicate our love through sex or vice versa. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I know I like makeup sex, so I will start to I will start just a little argument just because I'd be like, well, now that we made up, come on now, it's that time. Let's make it happen.
Yeah,
and then I also feel like me, KJ, I am on the opposite spectrum, having been married and now having children. Sex before you have kids is whenever we want, however we want, all the time. When you have kids, after you put them to bed, a lot of times you just want to go lay down yourself. Like sometimes, people don't listen. If you're gonna date somebody with kids, you need to understand kids are emotionally, physically, mentally, they are draining. And so after you are finished with these kids, a lot of times you might not be in the mood. And so you can go from, oh girl, I want to have this every other day to it's been about 2-3 weeks and we haven't, and it's not that you don't want to, but that's where I think you have to try harder. I think you have to, in that space, it has to be what you do in the beginning of a relationship. I'm gonna text you this little nasty thing. I'm going to touch you as we walk by. I'm going to flirt with you throughout the day, because what can happen after having kids or after being in a relationship for an extended period of time, you can start just getting stale on stuff. You get lazy. It's expected. So now it's not, hey girl, I'm thinking about what I want to do with you tonight. It's, can you pick up some ground beef on the way home?
Yeah.
It's not so much of hamburger helper. No, okay.
I miss hamburger helper. I haven't had hamburger. Yeah, I've been having some weird cravings lately. And I was like, man, I miss some hamburger.
Listen.
With Texas toast. I'm sorry, with Texas toast and cheese.
Hamburger helper is the yeah, KJ, you gotta
Producer, I need a hamburger helper with Texas toast, lightly toasted.
No, ma'am. No.
with Texas toast. Like, hey, I ain't gonna lie though, some of them simple meals be everything. Cause I damn sure got a Lunchable the other day and was at work like this, building a little Lunchable sandwich. I'm just saying. Okay, so what I'm saying is squirrel moment all day long. All I'm saying is it's just important to have a conversation and talk about these things.
Yeah.
And work it out.
Yeah. I think you summed it up well, especially like if that's a big thing, right? For going in a situation with a partner that has kids, you have to understand that, because sometimes you can have sexual expectation or love language expectation. And then you got like kind of like the love language of the kids that you kind of have to help that partner reinforce. And then you have the love language with the partner. I mean, it's
listen, like
you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready.
Like we need to iron down if quality time is your love language. We need to iron down what that looks like. Like for you, is quality time us just sitting in the same space together? Or is quality time like we need to sit in the same space and be engaged in each other? Yeah. Like, are you okay if I'm laying on your lap asleep? Or do I need to be wide awake and talking to you and having this moment where we are connecting and having deep conversations, like, or even surface conversations? But you need to figure those things out because you can end up getting frustrated.
Yeah, so, I love how you gotta define it. You gotta define it. Chat team, y'all have any questions or comments,
answers,
reactions, thoughts, curiosities?
Because my love language this evening has led me to I'm gonna do some fondue.
Ooh,
sometimes you got love language yourself. Get you one of them. See, them people. The thing now is the spiritual baths, the cleansing baths, where they be throwing all the leaves and berries in the bathtub. I don't know how y'all clean y'all bathtub.
That'd be me.
You do all that?
I've done like a spiritual bath, and I do the Epsom salt, and then I've done like
you do paprika in there.
Some hot cakes.
You threw some basil leaves in there.
Some cinnamon up in there. Hey. No, but I love how you said that, man. You have to have you have to not only know your own love language, but love yourself. Like physical touch. Go ahead and handle that. Acts of service. Buy yourself something off of Amazon. Quality time. Go walk in somebody's park.
Go out to a restaurant and eat by yourself. That's quality time. Quality time with you.
Yeah.
Quality time with you.
You can't get up in no relationship wanting to express your love language and you have not, experienced that for yourself. You gotta experience.
What does Queen RuPaul say? If you don't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love anybody else? Like you can't. If you don't have an extreme love for you, don't love yourself to where you got a big head all the time. Like
no.
But you do have to have some love for you.
Yeah, I buy myself some flowers sometimes. I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl.
That's nice, Kay. What do I do for me?
Yes, what do you do for you? And while she's thinking, y'all, what do y'all do for yourself? Put it in the chat. What do y'all do for yourself?
What you do for you?
I give myself spa days.
Producer gives herself spa days.
I love it.
I buy myself equipment.
That's the gift portion, right? That's the gift portion.
That's the I gift myself some equipment because I love myself.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. I love you, KJ.
I love you too. I received that love. I receive your love.
And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. There go the words of affirmation. I think you're wonderful and awesome.
You might make me cry. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. All right.
Any last questions? Anything? Oh, you got Netta likes to do K-drama days. She likes
K-drama. Duchess, what is? Do you know what that is? Break it down for me.
K-drama is like Korean, like like telenovelas for
Oh,
like we watch telenovelas in Spanish. So
okay,
K-drama
cool.
is like Korean. Um, producers starting to get me on some anime, and
Okay.
I like some anime now, like certain animes. For me, I really might just need downtime. I might just want to sit
Yeah.
here and watch Murder Murder Kill ID channel all day long. Like I just
Mm,
good old serial killers figuring out their life, and that's
yeah.
what I'm gonna do all day. And
Yeah.
so
Give me a little.
I think that those but I think that's quality time with me.
Yeah. Give me a little book, a little YouTube. Masturbate a little bit, then come back to the YouTube, then go
What?
to sleep, then go.
What?
I mean, that's all love.
Just
You
I
know.
mean, love
Yeah.
yourself. So,
Love yourself.
guys,
Yeah.
we are almost closing out for the evening, but do
Mhm.
want to let you know that next week we are going to have Love Reigns on the show. We are also going to have Jose the Hype on the show, and we are going to be doing an interview with them. Closing out this month, we had our first episode, which was love, but our second episode will be commemorating Black History Month. So we are going to close out strong with two guests, and that will be next week. So we stay on our schedule. Uh, so I appreciate y'all for tuning in and getting with us and hanging out with us. And any
Having these
last
crazy
words?
conversations.
Yeah.
No, I think this has been good. I think people need to know. Yeah, go ahead and download that app. Love languages. I don't know the name offhand, but just check it out. And if you got a partner, you can kind of use it.
Yep, learn, and I think they have the options to do for couples and for singles because you need to. Oh shoot, what's the other app? What's the app? Is the process? What's the one?
Pattern, pattern.
Pattern. Have you
That thing.
downloaded that
I've been on pattern for a couple months now. That thing
thing? Listen,
will read you for
hey,
fit.
KJ, listen. Pattern had me like this one day. I
How
felt
did
like
you know?
I feel like they tapping my phone because they knew me for a T, and I was like, "Oh, hold up."
Please, please. Um,
Producer always got. She told me it's not a T for me. I'm
yeah,
talking about pattern had me down to the T.
pattern, and then also if you're into astrology, pull your natal chart. CafeAstrology.com.
Cafe astrology. All right, all
Yep.
right, all right. Um,
Dennis said it was
yeah. Pattern will read you for life. It will. It will. It definitely will. All right, y'all. It's
All right.
9:30. It's
Yes.
that time.
All right. Love you. Love all of y'all. Thank you for spending time with us.
Rainbow Table Talk. All your social media. Rainbow Table
Table
Talk. Hit
talk.
us up, Rainbow Table Talk 20@gmail.com. We're on YouTube, IG, Facebook, Rainbow Table Talk. Hit us up with your questions, your comments, your likes, your concerns. If you want to give us words of affirmation, hit us up. Like this, share this, all that good stuff, and we'll keep it
Do,
coming.
do the acts of service.
All that. Yes. We did service, you do acts. Come on, let's make it happen. I love you,
All
Kay.
right. Love you too. Love you too.
We love y'all. Y'all be safe.